It's time now for the award-winning #1 local talk show in Northeast Pennsylvania, The Sam Lesante Show. Now here's your host, Sam Lesante.
Thanks for joining us, folks. I'm Sam Lesante. Remember, you can watch us on HD, channel 513. So if you're watching us on channel 13, if you have an HD TV, flip over to 513, folks. My question to you on today's show is, are you lonely tonight? You know, there's a song, Are You Lonely Tonight? How many people in this world are lonely? And really, should they be lonely? Okay, there's many things, you know, that may be associated with loneliness, depression, family, stress, and so people have a tendency of beginning to, it affects their health, etc. So today, we have Paula Hahn. She's the Executive Director of Fritzingertown Senior Living Community, no stranger to northeastern Pennsylvania. But I asked Paula to come on to talk about, she's experienced this for many years, people being lonely. Now, we don't have a magic wand here, folks, but hopefully we can help you a little bit. If you saw the show, and if you didn't see the show I did with Dr. Philip Benyu, I highly recommend you go to our website and look at that show. He talks about the seasonal affective disorders, okay, and how we could help ourselves out. Well, anyway, Paula, nice to see you.
Thank you for having me.
How's the family?
Fine, thank you.
My little girl is how big now?
She is almost as tall as I am.
God bless her. She's a beautiful girl.
Thank you.
She's doing all right in school?
She's great.
That's good. And I know you're busy all the time, okay? I have to go through 14 secretaries before I get you on the phone. I have to send you letters, the registered men. I have to get the militia to come down just to find Paula Hahn. No, but you're pretty busy at Fritzingertown.
We are, thank goodness.
Paula, loneliness. Okay, virtually everyone experiences loneliness from time to time, especially in the holiday season and the winters when it's dreary outside, etc. And I think sometimes, you know, you've experienced many people who come into Fritzingertown or assisted living where maybe they live by themselves. And for the likes of me, if you're good health and you have an active life, then okay, living by yourself, if you have people and you're getting involved, etc. But if you don't have that, okay, the reason to sitting home just moping is sad. Let's talk about loneliness. What have you seen?
Well, I think there's a difference between loneliness. As you said, everybody experiences some degree of loneliness. I think when it's self-imposed, you know, some people do like to be isolated, some people do like to spend time alone. If people are lonely because they've lost family members, their entire routine has been changed, like you were saying to me, I'm very busy. I'm always, there's not enough hours in the day. If something were to happen to me where I would just be at home and not have that routine and not have that activity, I don't know how I would react. And that's what happens to them. You know, they retire, sometimes their health is affected so that they really can't do the same things or even the things that they always wanted to do. When I retire, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do this, and it doesn't work out that way. So I mean, it can be not only lonely, but really lead into some degree of depression.
You know, I think the sad thing that I see is that there are certain people who, you know, as they're getting older, who are very active and had a lot, offered a lot in their communities and did a lot, and all of a sudden, you know, because of age and because you can't get around as much as you can, they begin to think, what good am I now? I mean, you know, especially if you have family members who don't come and visit you, if you have sons or daughters or grandchildren, and you know. And I'm certainly some are busy, but it's unfortunate how many people do not pay attention to their parents while they're alive. When they're dead, it's like, oh, but the greatest guy, etc. So I don't want flowers when I'm dead. I want flowers when I'm alive. I want you to come and see me when I'm alive, not when I'm, you know, dead. And so to send that message across, particularly of parents who have you know, children. So as they get older and they begin to feel that their worth is not there, that's the thing I have a problem with.
Oh, I agree, absolutely. And we do have a number of families out there who are dedicated to their mother, to their father, and they really do care. But we're also in a place where the adult children are where we are. You're busy, you have children to raise, you have grandchildren to raise. We're not, you know, most households aren't lucky enough for the wife to stay home anymore. So they're off and they're busy. Even if they do move that parent, as was always the thing, I would never put my parent into a nursing home or facility. Now they're bringing them into their home, and so they're taking them from one familiar place into another familiar place, and they're isolated anyway because they're not home, or they're frustrated by the children because being around that activity and noise and living in someone else's home is as frustrating as being home alone.
Well, you've seen so many people, okay, when they have to make that transition to come into assisted living, okay, and they do come with mixed emotions, and I could only imagine,
Right.
Particularly if you lose a spouse, okay,
Correct.
and you're by yourself, whether it's your wife or your husband or whatever, then there's the adjustment period, okay? So when Dr. Benya was here and talked about the seasonal affective disorders, he talked about different things, get involved, try to get some light, try to, stay active, and so loneliness, I think if it continues on and it's not addressed, could lead into depression.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so now when you lead into depression, you're lonely and you're depressed. You feel what do I have to live for? I always, it's so sad when I hear people say that because there are things that you have to live for. Then you have, for what do I have to live for? How many times have you heard that? What do I have to
agree.
live for?
My family's, I don't have my husband, I don't have my kid. I know, I hear it too.
What do you do, okay, when someone comes to Fritzingertown and you're, what kind of transition? What do you do to make it that it's not that bad for them? I should say it should be that good for them, but I'm saying that transition.
Well, ideally, in an ideal situation, the person has looked into it themselves. Not everybody's ready, but we are getting to that point where we're not looking at nursing homes, at this stereotype that used to be in nursing homes before. People are coming in and saying, I'm just looking for the future.
Yeah, but you're not a nursing home. You're a assisted
No,
living.
that's you're absolutely. We have grown so
From
that
that
people aren't with that stereotype anymore.
Okay.
They know assisted living, they know personal care, and they know that it's not what they used to think. Now, whether they're ready or whether they're not ready, they are starting to come in and looking and saying, I'm just looking for the future. I want to see where I would like to go. I want to see what you have to offer, so that if the time comes where I am ready, I want to know where I want to go. And that's so key in them having control and them being part of the decision making, as opposed to having somebody else make the decision for them.
So let me look at this way. I want to check into a hotel.
Right.
Okay. I'm checking into a hotel, so I want to go and check this hotel, and then decide, well, while I'm in the hotel, even though I'll have my own place,
Right.
What's going on in the hotel that I could just, when I do want to get out and see and have activities and do something, they're there, but I still have my privacy. Like you have those apartments, Fritzingertown, which we did a show on that.
Right.
And I think, there's like a little mini home,
Right.
okay? And they have activities when they want. If not, they don't,
Right.
okay? That's a factor?
Oh, absolutely. And many people, and when they do come in, we try to give them our activities calendars so that they can see. And it's not just activities within the facility, it's activities in the community. Whether they go to dinner theaters or out for breakfast or out for meals or to the casino, things like that, They are still members of the community. We want to keep them doing things that they did for fun before. And some of them do things now that they never even did before.
I was going to say that. I get, you see the changes in people.
Right.
Okay, we talked about, you hear sometimes people say, "I'm going there to die." No, you're going there to live.
Absolutely.
Okay, you're going there to live and live with excitement, folks. I'm talking to Paula Hahn. We're talking about loneliness. What do we do about it? And for you people who have your parents or guardians still living. When was the last time you went to see them? When was the last time you picked up the phone and say, "Hey, Dad, how are you? This is your son, Jim." And sometimes they say, "Do I have a son? Do I have a daughter?" You don't want that to be. You don't want to hear that on the other line. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show, folks. Remember, 24/7, you can watch all of the programs we produce here at SSP TV, Samson Productions, ssptv.com. My email is sam@ssptv.com. And remember, for those who are watching us on Channel 13, you can also watch us in high definition at 513. My guest today is Paula Hahn. Paula is the Executive Director for Fritzingertown Senior Living Community, and we're talking about loneliness, okay? Some things, how people could, you know, a frame of mind is important. If you get up in the morning and say it's going to be a lousy day, it's going to be a lousy day. If you get up in the morning and hopefully that you can make a positive thing and saying, well, you know, it'll be a good day. You know, I'm going to make it a good day. Then someone comes around and screws it up for you. You know, but that's not the point. You see that what you people at your place, right? Your residents.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What is the telltale sign or that you see in people that will gradually, who are lonely, will maybe fall into a depression?
Isolation and certainly not wanting to go out and into somewhere unfamiliar. I just think any change in routine, you know, and depression isn't necessarily always loneliness. There could be chemical things that are involved in there too, and medications can do it and things like that. But the thing the red flag is when somebody was active or even semi-active, social, and now is isolating themselves, staying in their apartments, staying in their homes. Even if family does want to come, they're resistant, you know, to wanting to go out anywhere. You know, and sometimes you can go and visit them and they can seem perfectly fine, but once they leave, they go back into that rut. I can always, when somebody says to me, when I'm interviewing somebody or assessing somebody and their family says to me, they're starting to pull the shades down. They're leaving the shades down. They're not pulling the shades up during the day. The lights are on at night. They're hearing noises. This all becomes such, you know, so all the red flags for somebody for depression, isolation, and now it's starting to become almost to appear like dementia. And it may not really be dementia.
You know, we talk about people who are lonely. I really don't see why anyone who is a senior, who are living by themselves and really are lonely, with all the assisted living facilities we have, okay, that they at least check them out, because I think they would find a different purpose and go to a place to live, not stay home to die.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, you have the ability with the facilities that we have out there. I mean, obviously I'm partial to Fritzingertown, but the smartest thing that you can do for yourself, if you know that it's potentially inevitable, or you think if the time comes you're not going to be happy living with your family, go out and shop around. Not every place is right for everyone, but if you look around, you will find a place that you can be comfortable with. And if you're part of the decision making and you have a plan and you tell your family, you know, if I ever wind up in the hospital or I have to leave my home, or when I'm ready, this is what I want to do and this is where I want to go.
I think that's excellent advice. I think anybody out there now who's feeling good, I mean, and concerned and they're living by themselves, it's something that they should look into with their children or whomever, so they have an understanding. So while they're still healthy to a degree, they can enjoy themselves. Okay, what are some of the things that you do at Fritzingertown for activities and to keep things going?
I mean, we have a full activities calendar from morning until night, whether it's from exercise class to trivia to current events, to try to keep them involved in things. And then later on, it's more physical activities. Well, the ever-present bingo, but going on.
Bingo.
No, we've tried. Going on outings of any kind, even if it's cards But I can tell you, we can have a full activities calendar. And the key is the other residents. We'll get them involved. Even if it's just sitting, 4 or 5 of them just sit and play cards or do a puzzle or just to reminisce. But that stimulation of being around other people and talking with the other residents. The residents play more of a part or just as important a part in their activities and their socialization as we can control.
I totally agree with you. I think even in your own social life, when
Right.
when you're going out having lunch with someone or going out for dinner with someone, you know, my father, when I had the stores, and we would go out, my wife and I, we would go out and have dinners, and he would, why are you spending all this money for going out? And I said, Dad, I don't go out for the food. I go out for the camaraderie and socializing, because that's like going to a psychiatrist. When you're able to mingle with people. And then another thing is, you know, at least, you know, people should surround themselves with people who are positive and who have creative ideas. If you're going out with someone who's a pain in the rectum, you know, you don't need that. You have enough aggravation. So what you find in the assisted living homes in Fritzingertown, when they're socializing with people that are excited about different
Right,
things.
absolutely.
You know.
And planning their next event. And Fritzingertown, I mean, they're actually they have a resident council meeting where they're part of the decision making. If they don't like a certain thing on the menu, it goes. I mean, if they want a special activity, or they want to go somewhere that they've not been before, or we've been there, we love it, we want to keep going to do that, they have a part of it. They're in control.
You know, it's interesting because when they come down there, you know, not everybody, but a majority of people are always smiling. They're always, you know, happy. And I walk through, say, you know, this kid, you know, happy, and they're always excited. Okay, now of course some people may not be feeling good, or you know, it's not 100%,
Right.
but a majority of them, they always seem to be content and happy, and they come and go as they please. And there's activities. You know, I said to you before, is we're going to a place to live, not a place to die,
Absolutely.
okay? And I think that's the mindset that I would hope a lot of other people have. The saddest thing is for me to go by a home and see a person
Absolutely.
on the porch all by themselves, thinking about, you know, and then you think about what I used to do, what I did here, what I did there. It's hard for them to move on. I mean, memories are something that people can cling on to, but then there's a time where you have to just say, let me shelf the memories and let me live a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And again, sometimes that's, if it's not in your personality to be outgoing and you know, to be the one that's going to be the leader as opposed to the follower, it is a difficult thing for them to get used to. But hopefully, and what we see is a lot of residents that we have that are the ambassadors to new people. We'll have somebody come in for a tour, and you know, more often than not, you know, you'll say, can I show your room or whatever, and they get into a 10-15 minute spiel about how they wound up here, how much they like it, and they sell Fritzingertown more than we do.
Well, we found that out when we did a few interviews with some of the people that were there, and their kids came up, and it was like amazing. I'm talking to Paula Hahn, folks, who's the Executive Director of Fritzingertown Senior Living Community. If you'd like to call her, her number is 570-788-4178. We come back, we're going to talk about, hey, if you go to assisted living, or, you know, can you live longer? Okay, what are the statistics, okay? Do you get rid of some of your depression, okay? Do you get rid of some of your loneliness and then begin to feel self-worth again? We'll talk about that when we come back at this break. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show, folks. 24/7, ssptv.com. You can watch all of our shows. My email, sam@ssptv.com. And for those of you who are watching us, Channel 13, if you have a high-definition TV, go and watch us on 513. My guest today is Paula Hahn, who is the Executive Director of Fritzingertown Senior Living Community. If you are happy, if you have a good attitude in life, I think you will automatically live longer. My question then, you've seen this, you witness it every day. Do you find that people who utilize assisted living facilities get a couple extra years in life?
Oh, I think undoubtedly, if somebody is alone at home or not feeling well, or physically has more dysfunction, ambulatory dysfunction, or pain with movement and things like that, that make them tend to isolate themselves. If you're in a situation where you don't have to worry about the stresses of where your next meal is coming from, am I going to remember my medications, how do I make my doctor's appointments, and all the things that we do that are so stressful for people that we take for granted. But these become monumental problems. How am I going to get my groceries in a snowstorm? How am I going to get my medications from the pharmacy? Am I taking my medications properly?
Boy.
Did I take my medications this morning or didn't I take my
That's-
medications this morning? You move into a community or a situation where you take those stressors away and all you have to do is enjoy yourself. Obviously, they're going to thrive. You asked me about statistics before. I have no idea, but I can guarantee you, if they've done studies and have an actual statistical rate, but I can tell you the people I have seen thrive when they don't have to worry about those daily stressors anymore.
And we talked about this one show. You have some people maybe hesitant, and they say, okay, they like they come in, and all of a sudden, after a while, it's like, when they go out with their loved ones or whatever, they're saying, I got to get back to my home. Not their home, but back to Fritzingertown.
They're going to miss something.
They're going to miss something at Fritzingertown, okay? And I think that's exciting. I mean, any assisted facility. And I think the key thing is, of course, are the people that work at these facilities, okay? And we're blessed. We have a lot of nice facilities in this area. And I know at Fritzingertown, you have people that understand. They understand the elderly people.
And even though some of our residents don't have families or involved families or whatever, our staff becomes their family. So they don't feel like they're not loved or nobody cares.
Boy, that's so true. And how you doing today, Millie? Is everything okay? And they become a part, and it's important. Some of the things that you look for in loneliness, if you're home, they suggest that you do get involved with activities. So for those people who are alone and feel that they are not worth anything, which is so sad, and I wish they would stop doing that, and to look at a facility and say, look, you just did it. Did I take my pill? I forgot to take my pill. Who's going to get my groceries? Who's going to do that? All that stuff is gone. Okay, all you have to do is go and enjoy yourself. Watch the Sam Lesante show. That's another thing we have to talk about. On your facility, only half of the people are watching the Sam Lesante show. We have to get that channel 5
Put a closed circuit up there.
Closed circuit just for the Sam Lesante. No, it's really gratifying. They'll say, "Hey, I watch you on TV," which is great. I think any senior who has worked so hard in their lives, Paula, deserves some happiness.
Absolutely. And it doesn't always go necessarily the way you wanted it to go, but be in control. If it can't be what you wanted, make it something new.
My wife quotes you a lot. And she says, in Paula's office, I think you may still have it, or you say it, it is what it is.
Absolutely, it is what it is.
I mean, it is what it is.
You can't change it, so it is what it is.
Make it the best that you can.
Make it better. Right.
You could, I always say, you could fall in love with a rich person, you could fall in love with a poor person. You could fall in love with a person who has good character or a bad character. You can make those decisions. But you've seen so many people that you've been able to help and extend it, and I think that's great. Yeah. There's no reason to be lonely today. I just can't see that happening.
And if you are lonely and you're choosing to be lonely, that's another red flag.
Yes.
If somebody's choosing to isolate and don't bother me, that's something you need to be concerned about.
Well, hopefully that some people who are watching the show who are lonely or living by themselves will look at assisted living facilities. Paula would be more than happy to show you her facility. It's a class act, folks. 570-788-4178. And those apartments they have there. What are they? What do they call them?
The independent living apartments.
Well, I think they're fabulous. I mean, they're like little homes,
right?
And they're right there. You don't have to worry about food if you want them, etc. But you're on your own. You live by yourself.
You can.
But you have people and activities going for you.
Absolutely.
Right. Well, Paula, always nice seeing you.
You as well.
Okay. Give your little girl a hug from me. She's a beautiful girl.
Thank you.
Paula Hahn, folks, Executive Director for Fritzingertown Senior Living Community. Give them a call, 788-4178, or check any assisted living facility to find out what you could do. There's no reason for you to be lonely. We'll see you next time.